Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for attending tonight's budget workshop number 3. If we could all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I would like to introduce Dr. Romanelli, who has a few words he'd like to start us off with tonight.
Perfect. So thank you for being here, everyone. We have our third budget workshop this evening, and I'll be taking you through the beginning portion of this presentation. So we are talking about, as our topic for this evening, school safety and facilities. We do want to give a quick update, though, as to what we have proposed in our first budget workshops and what we've shared so far. And also add in some discussions about the projected average class sizes at the elementary, which drives a lot of our budget in terms of how many sections that we may have in our classes. As you can see here from this chart up above, we are able to maintain class sizes in the teens and low 20s. If you look at some of the areas just of interest, the first grade at Bayview being at 24, we do have the potential that some classes of 23, some classes of 24, but we do believe we are going to have some placement changes there, so the class size will most likely be at 23. The class size of 16 is a little bit low at Oakwonock in grade 2. That's just because of the fact that we have 1 or 2 additional students that would put us into the 24, 25 range had we opened with one less section. And then also just a particular area of note that Oakwonock in 5th grade, I know a number of parents have reached out to me and staff members about the current 4th grade at Oakwonock. We're at about 26 or 27 in the class sizes right now. We're able to add a class size there, class section there to bring the class size down to 20. So we feel that we're in a good place with our class sizes. Please also note that that section in 1st grade at Bayview is going to be an ICT section as well, so some of our sections will have multiple teachers in the classroom. We'll also be adding a 6th grade section at Udall. Our class sizes there are in the high 20s in 6th grade. We'll be able to bring that down to the low to mid 20s by adding a section there as well. So we are happy about our class size report right now, and just noting those class sizes there. It'll be up from last year an additional 2 sections for K through 6. So we are adding in 2 additional sections at the K through 6 level to try to keep our class sizes at a normal range. Just a couple things we've talked about so far that are in the budget, just for everyone to wrap up with. Our full-day universal pre-K program is in the budget. We have 160 spots in our buildings in the elementary school, so we have 40 students going to each of our home buildings, and the remaining students after the 160, which equals about 90 students here, will go to South Shore Children's Center. So something to note about West Islip, which I'm not sure if everyone is aware of, is that the district funds all students of this 250 students to attend pre-K in the district. That's not something that's an automatic or a given in other districts across Long Island. In many places, if you get to the 160 in the home buildings, it's okay. Our students have been selected. We're at the 160. Parents can go look for a placement. It comes out of pocket for parents and out of families. But the district has dedicated for those additional students the space and the funding for them to attend pre-K within the district. In terms of Eastern Suffolk BOCES, we've always had a cap on programs for Eastern Suffolk BOCES and the number of spots that we have available for sending students out to programs. We are lifting that cap and looking at more on a case-by-case basis. If our students need a program outside the district, sending them and really meeting the needs of our individual students. We've also added an assistant director of special education at the secondary level. That'll allow us to have our director of special education and our 2 assistants, one at the elementary level and one at the secondary level, to really give more support to our students and staff in our special education program. We have 4 building aides added in, 1 in each of our elementary buildings to support with instruction at the buildings, 2 additional preferred subs at the high school. We want to have guaranteed substitute teachers at our high school so that we can take a look at setups that we have, like our sub room currently, and try to have a teacher in every classroom so that we can maximize instruction in the classrooms even when the teacher's out of the room. We want a teacher to be able to leave sub-plans and know that they're going to have a substitute teacher in their classroom to deliver whatever instructional plan that they're expecting for the day. So we're hoping the addition of the preferred subs will help with that. We also were able to take a look at some of our staffing in the math department and move some things around to allow for 2 math coaches, one at each of our middle schools, Beach and Udall. So we'll have 1 math coach at each of the buildings to support our staff and students with their instructional needs in math. And we also have just recently added in a Deans of Discipline at the high school. This is something new that we're putting into the budget, that when we were doing our staffing reports and looked, we saw that we had some teaching positions that were available that we felt would be really beneficial to allocate towards discipline at the high school. Deans have changed a lot over the years, and really the focus of having a Dean of Discipline at the school is someone who can make connections with students, who can be proactive, who can work out conflicts going on in the building. Our assistant principals do an excellent job of that already, but having that additional support and the partnership between the teachers and administrators, we feel will be really, really important. And that's able to be done with no additional budget cost. That's looking at reallocating our current staffing, so there's no additional budget cost for the math coaches or for the Deans of Discipline. They're on that list of what's in the budget. And just on the topic of discipline, I know we're talking a little bit about school safety tonight and facilities. Just wanted to mention a few thoughts about school safety before passing it over. I want to express my appreciation for our security team, Mr. McAlevey, Mr. Leteri, and all the security guards we have. Our security guards really are more than just security. I see this on a first-hand basis every day when I walk around the district. They're not a hired company patrolling the parking lot and not knowing who the students are and who the staff are in the district. They care about the students in this district, they care about the staff, and they really want to protect what we have going on here in West Islip. Whether that's Brian having a football catch out in front of Manitouk in the morning, you go over there if you've seen him, or the team at the high school keeping the building safe. My first time here in West Islip, I was working on getting a really great photo in front of the high school to try to launch out, welcome the new superintendent, and I had security all over me, asking me who I was, which I was so impressed with. It was actually Ed, who was the first person I met in the district, one of our security guards. So we like to tell that story there as well. And some people may not know, we have 2 what I would call really command centers, in our district, on the north and south portions of our town, our district. And there are employees in these rooms with monitors looking at what's going on across the district all day, every day in our buildings. And these are trained staff, that they have the IT background, we work with the company A+, that we take a look at all those videos, and they have constant communication with our buildings as well. So that's talking about our multiple security guards we have in the buildings, we have vehicles at the buildings, so we have a really proactive coverage. And we're talking about this all the time. We're regularly reflecting on our practices. We're never satisfied to the point where we're relaxing. We're always vigilant and having these sort of conversations about how we can get better, reflecting on events that take place. And I bring this up because of recent events that have been going on in the news, which I know we'll talk about in a little bit. But I'm not going to go too far into it because I know that's what our presentation is about tonight. I just really want to express my confidence in our team and my appreciation for all that they do every day, our security team. So thank you very much. And someone else who I'm eternally grateful for is our wonderful Assistant Superintendent for Business, Ms. Elisa Pilati, who worked to coordinate this presentation tonight. I'm going to turn it over to her to discuss our tax levy.
Thank you, Dr. Romanelli. Good evening, everyone. Just before we get into our school safety and facilities presentation, a little recap about our tax levy. So our tax levy was calculated off of our restricted formula, which is provided to us by the Office of the State Comptroller. We are looking at a levy for next year of $92.1 million, and that levy increase represents a 1.8% levy increase over this current levels. The average tax levy increase across Long Island is actually 2.21%. Suffolk County is seeing an average increase of 2.36%, and Nassau County is seeing an average increase of 2.06%. So as you can see, West Islip is well below the average across the island. We are still awaiting final state aid numbers. We are supposed to get the state budget released by April 1st, unless it's released late like it was last year. But once those final state aid numbers come in, then we're able to finalize our proposed 2023-24 budget, which we will be covering in detail in our fourth budget presentation on April 18th. So our custodial maintenance and grounds and school safety personnel have accomplished a great deal this year. Our buildings are cleaned to the highest standards, the grounds are well maintained, and any issues that arise are promptly resolved. The bonds and capital reserves that we have continue to afford us the opportunity to address many projects throughout our district. Mr. McAlevey is now going to take us through our school safety budget and accomplishments.
Good evening. So we've accomplished a good amount this year, this previous year, and I'll just highlight some of those accomplishments. We purchased a brand new school safety vehicle. I don't know if you had an opportunity to go around the district today. We have 4 fairly new Ford Explorers in the fleet, and 2 of them today were reassigned to different schools and to have that extra presence, security presence across the district. So we are utilizing these vehicles, and the 3 to 11 tour, as you can see Carl over there who's joining us tonight, they're constantly patrolling all the different schools in the district. So these vehicles are very helpful to us on all of our tours, but to be a presence on a school day as well. We've cleaned and refocused numerous cameras district-wide. We've updated cameras at the high school and Udall. The high school interior cameras have, most of them, I would say 70% of them have been upgraded. So we retrieved a lot of the old ones that are still in good condition, and we replaced them with newer cameras that focus and have better technology. So with those older cameras that are still in good shape, what we're doing is we're finding areas across the district and other schools where we can utilize those cameras. So they're not going to just be sitting in the closet. We're going to reuse them in other areas where we might not have the best coverage. We purchased new traffic signs for several schools. Mr. O'Farrell has a couple of nice signs outside Udall and the high school to help with arrival and dismissals, to direct traffic and point them in the right direction. Installed additional electronic access control points at the high school, which is our door access system where we swipe our cars to get in and out of doors. We're constantly adding those in areas that we feel would help us in case of emergencies. We installed the Dell archive servers. All these cameras we have a ton of cameras, and there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes that make the cameras operate. We have a number of different servers to store all that footage on. Just to explain the Dell archive servers a little bit, we have approximately 10 servers right now, and they've been in use for a very long time. As we continue to grow this system, it requires more storage. So sometimes we have outages in these servers that we have. So the idea is, with this new system, the servers will record on our current servers for 2 days and then go right to the archive, which allows optimal usage of our current servers. So again, the cameras look great, they work, but there's a lot of things that go into it behind the scenes, such as the storage and the servers that we currently have. We've ordered 15 Motorola radios for the supervisors. I carry mine everywhere I go. I live in this town, I'm always on it. Right here, in the click of a button, I can raise any one of my security officers. Carl, do you have your radio on you? There it is. If I see something, I can get on the radio. Like Dr. Romanelli announced earlier, we have 2 command centers in the district. One of them is operational 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that's a security number that is on the website that you can contact. We always have a security officer in there. So my idea behind ordering new radios was we have supervisors, which are teachers that work events such as sporting events, after school activities. And sometimes we have crowds that can get disorderly, or we have situations that might be a medical emergency on a field, right? At a click of a button, they can raise security, we can get on the phone with 911, and we can show up right away. So all of our supervisors now, when they receive their assignment for whatever game they're going to at the high school, they're going to grab a radio with them, they're going to go on the right channel, and we'll be ready if God forbid they need us for an emergency. So we have plenty of radios out there for quick access to first responders and our school safety team here in the district. We purchased new signs for every school. School grounds closed while school is in session. Daily, I would say weekly, the school safety officers here across the district encounter community members that want to walk the track, that want to walk around the fields, that want to cut through properties. We are a closed campus during a school day because we can't tell who's a good person and who's a bad person, right? We can't tell. So our school campuses are closed. Sometimes community members want to use the track. They want to exercise. They want to walk their dogs. They want to ride their bikes. And I personally had an interaction with a community member, let's say probably 4 months ago, who was not happy when I asked him if he could leave the premises and kindly come back after school hours to enjoy the track here at Beach Middle. So now we have signs posted at every school to kind of help that situation, so they can see the signs and say, okay, school's still in session, we'll come back in the afternoon, just to limit the amount of foot traffic on campus. Professional development. Tourniquet application in Narcan. About 2 months ago, I had the medical staff from Southside Hospital come to the high school and train all the guards that are in our schools on stop the bleed and tourniquet training. This is very important to me. As you all know, a neighboring district this week had an incident at one of their middle schools where there was a stabbing. The school safety officer in that school, who was a retired police officer, took a scarf and wrapped the kid's leg and saved his life. So that kid was airlifted to Stony Brook Hospital and lost a lot of blood, but the tourniquet saved the kid's life. And we avoided tragedy right there and right here in Long Island, neighboring district. So I've also purchased tourniquets. Every one of my security officers have a tourniquet, along with other medical supplies. Any event they need it, could be anything. A kid might cut themselves on a piece of glass. We're trained. We have the proper tools to react in case of medical emergencies as well. Moving on. All right. School safety budget. Personnel. The overall school safety budget is projected to increase for next school year by 36%. The majority of school safety budget consists of personnel costs. Our middle schools and elementary schools each have 2 school safety officers, and our high school has 8 school safety officers. The school safety department also has 2 lead school safety officers to cover our AM and PM shifts. We have 3 school safety officers on the evening tour and 2 school safety officers on the midnight tours. Cameras across the district are monitored 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, as I mentioned earlier. As school safety continues to be a top priority in the West Sussex School District, I continue to ask more of my staff. I also receive requests throughout the year from administrators for extra school safety officers for events, such as athletic games, field days, assemblies, voting, etc. You will see school safety vehicles and officers at more of these events throughout the year. Down to equipment, $90,600. There's a drop there. We've been fortunate to have a replenishment cycle for our school safety vehicles, and at this point, we are not budgeting for any additional vehicles. That's why you see the drop there. This past year, we ordered a brand new Ford Explorer for our fleet. We plan on purchasing additional electronic access door control panels and additional exterior cameras for various school buildings. Specifically, the exterior cameras for Udall and Paul J. Ballou are being replaced with new cameras that offer artificial intelligence. This artificial intelligence technology can allow us to put in a description of a potential missing child or a suspicious vehicle, and the cameras will pull up footage that match those descriptions immediately. This can help us in the event if we have a young student elope from a building. The new technology is unbelievable. As I just mentioned, if we have, God forbid, we have a kindergartner or a first grader get out through a door, and we have their closing description. Camera room, command center, I have 2 retired New York City police officers that work specifically with cameras and IT within the NYPD. They are manning both of these camera command centers during the day. They both have radios. Any school safety officer from any school can contact them immediately in these camera centers. They can put a description into the new cameras. Blue shirt, red jeans, red shirt, blue jeans. Bam, the cameras are going to go to work and immediately pull up cameras that have anybody matching with that clothing description. So we can see what door they went out, and then we can start from there. It's really quick. It happens fast. These things develop really quickly. with this new technology is really a game changer. So we're proud to say that we're going to start introducing that into this next year's budget. I'm going to do 2 schools a year. Every year we're going to do 2 schools. This year, Paul J. Blue I picked because there's a lot of stuff going on at Paul J. Blue during and after school hours with the turfs, the library fields, transportation department. We have the public library there. We have the CVS there. There's a lot of moving parts there. And we're going to replace all the exterior cameras at Paul J. Blue this year. Same thing with Udall, which connects to Manitowoc. We have that large field that divides the 2 schools. We're going to improve all our coverage in that field. It's been a challenge trying to get camera coverage in that field. There's woods on both sides of it, and we're going to upgrade those cameras as well. And then the following year, we'll grab another middle school and another elementary school, and so on and so on. Again, the cameras are great. The camera operators are great. They're phenomenal. These 2 gentlemen that work for us are top notch, and I couldn't be prouder to have them on staff. They do a really good job for us. All right. Professional services. The reason for the significant increase in professional services is due to a shift in where we budget our A+ annual maintenance contract. This expense was previously budgeted for our technology department. So last year, the technology department took on that maintenance contract, which is a hefty maintenance contract. So all of our door access, electronic door access points, our cameras, our door access cameras, what else is there? A number of safety. A+ comes out, and part of that maintenance contract is if one of them goes down, something goes down, Mrs. Delaney over there in the IT department will put a ticket in for the help desk, and they come out and they fix the problem. And with this maintenance contract, they come out pretty quickly sometimes. They're supposed to be coming out pretty quickly, but they do a pretty good job with that. So that maintenance contract was previously in the IT code, and now it's currently coming back to me. I am the liaison for A+, so it was only fit to put it in our budget, and that's why you see the increase there. Professional services, good. Uniforms, significant drop in the uniforms. Something that I pride myself on is having everybody on the team look and dress alike. Not a fan of jeans. I like the khaki pants. I want everybody to look uniform, look professional. So over the course of this past year, you'll notice we've ordered new jackets, we've ordered new long sleeve shirt, short sleeve shirt, 3/4 zips. So everybody looking professional and everybody's looking the same. And in every building, you're going to know who the school safety officer is. So that's why you see this. We purchased a lot this past year, so we dropped it for next year. We're looking pretty good on uniforms at the time. So what's included in the 2023-2024 budget? Annual maintenance contract for all cameras, increased camera coverage, electronic door access control, school safety uniform, professional development, and training for our staff. And I think that's it.
So with personnel, are you adding staff, or are you just expanding the use of your existing staff?
We're expanding the use of our existing staff. We have just under 40 school safety officers in the district that work a number of different shifts. High school afternoon, I have the day tour, I have the 3 to 11:15, I have the midnight tour, I have the weekend tours. So they're all over the place. Some officers work 3 days a week, some officers work 5 days a week. I have 3 full-time, some kind of police officers on our payroll that come in when they can come in and help us out. I have active court officers that come and that can't work on the day, so they come in and work the evening, they work the midnight, they work the weekends. So again, football games, you'll see the presence of security. We beef up security at football games, especially those Friday night football games, to try to get ahead of any potential problems. During the athletic events in general, you'll see school safety vehicles out there in the spring right now. They'll be up and down Lions Path, and you'll see baseball games, and you'll see a school safety vehicle. So I'm asking a lot of the current staff that I have. That's where you see the increase. Yep.
So I don't really have a question as much as a statement for you. And you probably know this, but I feel the need to say it anyway.
Sure.
You know, obviously, in light of recent events, school safety is a hot topic. So I'm just putting it out there for you that if there's ever anything that you think needs to be acquired, no matter what the cost is, don't ever hesitate to ask, to put it out there to us. You know, I think as a board, I think we've taken safety and security measures very seriously. I think as a district, we have done a lot to be proactive in that situation. And I just want to let you know that we want to continue to support you any way possible to continue to make school safe for everyone.
Thank you, I appreciate
Of
that.
course.
And I will just add to that. You know, I have colleagues in all the districts around Suffolk County and Nassau County. And we speak daily. We're sharing information. We're always picking their brains to see what other people are doing in their districts and where do we stand in school safety. And I will say that you guys have been nothing but supportive of this department, and it really helps because not every district is like that. And I appreciate that. And just, you know, for everybody out there, we're really in a good place. We have a lot. We have a lot in place here, and I feel comfortable. It's unfortunate what's going on in this world, but I think with the right people and the right tools, we could, you know, do the best we can to minimize any of that targeted violence here in West Islip.
Sure.
Thank you.
And we're going to welcome up Mr. James Bossi, our Director of Buildings, Grounds, and Facilities.
The last guy was a little bit short, so he raised us up a little bit. He was also a little bit younger, so I'll put my glasses on. So the Buildings and Grounds Department, as we've presented to the board each and every year, we're going to maintain what we've done in the past. We're ready to provide another year of service to the district, and our crew members include and provide the custodial, maintenance, and grounds work across the district. We also have an office operation with 2 clerical workers where we handle invoicing, scheduling, building use permits, which includes all the fields, gyms, cafeterias, using that space, collecting insurance, permits, applications, all that. We also provide a variety of district and community activities for things that occur during the school day and afterwards on the weekends and in the evenings. As well as that, we provide all the construction projects that we often go over with the board and the B&G committee meetings that include bond work or capital reserve projects, grant projects, or emergency projects. On this slide, we have a few recent accomplishments, and this topic can be a bit dry sometimes, but I'm going to talk through each one of these to give you some examples of the topics that we cover in this department. These are construction and capital project related. So in the high school, we've renovated or replaced actually the walk-in freezer at the high school, and we've done other improvements to the doors and hardware and air conditioning in those. We did new epoxy floors in the transportation bathrooms. We have new ductless splits in the air conditioning splits in the kitchens, cafeterias, and auditoriums. The auditoriums are in progress now. We have ductless splits in the Manitowoc and Okanock offices that were recently done last fall and summer. Also the nurse's office over there. We did additional water bottle filling stations. In the middle schools, we did both tech labs, 2 per building, that's 4 total. Those were beautiful new renovations too. The Bayview Elementary School and Curtihue rear parking lots were repaved. We had generators that added to Manitowoc and Beach. Those are still being finished up. We have new drop ceilings and lights throughout the district in various rooms that used to have old ceilings that were difficult to access, pipes and wiring and IT work. We also did 2 renovations, or 2 building renovations for bathrooms, 4 at the high school and 2 at Bayview. And we did new gym sound systems at Beach, Udall, and the high school turf field. Sorry, there we go. The grounds athletic and custodial project examples of accomplishments are we have new foul poles in the baseball and softball fields at the varsity level and JV level. We repaired the turf on the pitcher's mound and the batter's box. We restored clay infields for baseball and softball at high school and middle school fields. Removed all the vines and growth from various fence lines throughout the district and athletic areas. We trimmed and removed various trees and limbs throughout. We expanded and renovated several backstops and repaired fences. Fertilize, seed, and roll the athletic fields. That's coming up in the next month or so for the new season. We're going to be installing middle school outdoor basketball courts. That's a kind of exciting thing that we have outside now. Full-size courts, 2 hoops on each side, or 1 per side. And that'll be nice for during the school day as well as after school. We repaired various varied irrigation valves in the fields. That's for all the athletic fields. We water those fields in the seasons. We also polished all the terrazzo floors in the schools, and we upgraded hand soap and dispensers. And that upgrade to the hand soap and dispensers is an example I want to pick out because sometimes we shop around the price of supplies. In the case of hand soap, it saved us about $10,000 to go from one style to another. And there are things that we do for everything from paper towels to soaps to supplies. We're checking prices every year to see if we have the right number, what's reasonable, what's fair, and make sure the deliveries are what we need. And if we can save a few bucks, that's what we try to do. Some maintenance repair accomplishments. Those are generally projects that we've done with our own crew. We replace and reset the high school lower gym ceiling tiles. They get knocked out from volleyball and other activities in gyms. So we get a high lift and go in there and repair all those. The beach auditorium stage that's in here, all these lights up top were all failing prematurely. So we got warranty. We had to go back and forth with the manufacturer. We had to get lifts in here, pull all the fixtures out, take fixtures from the side, put them up top temporarily to run the shows in December. And then we came back and swapped them all in once we got the replacements at no charge. We did the heat exchanger replacements in the high school and other valves and expansion tanks. That's all behind the scenes at the high school for the steam systems there. We also have steam systems over at Curdy He and Paul J. Blue that need major renovation and repair work. We have library shelving that was removed in the libraries at the middle school and high school level, and we've done some painting in there. We've done exhaust fans, unit vent replacements or repairs, heaters and controls. We sealed all the gym floors in the summer. We did the stages as well, and we also did parking lot painting for all the lines and the handicap ramps. We convert some of the computer rooms to make makerspace rooms, and we've rebuilt steam condensate pumps at Curdy He High School. We cleaned and painted the boiler rooms and mechanical closets. We've done various plumbing, electrical, and construction projects throughout the district, and we've completed approximately 1,000 work orders this year with grounds and maintenance crews. These are just examples of all the things that we try to take care of from our department. Here we have a few just photo examples of some of the things we've done. The first one just shows a fence line that used to be covered in vines and growth and sticker bushes and probably bees. That's all been cleared. That's in Manitowoc. There are other examples throughout the district. The second picture shows an irrigation box that might be in the middle of an athletic field. So we have to change the wiring or fix the valves or whatever else has to happen in there. The last picture shows a curb that was cracked or broken either from snow plows or freezing or whatever, and we patched that and then we painted. On the left picture here is an electrical box that we've either retrofitted or upgraded. The middle picture shows some piping from a boiler room. That's an example because sometimes the valves go bad, or there are leaks, or the pumps are bad. They have problems with the electric motors that spin the pumps. They often have to be rebuilt or replaced. The last photo shows an aluminum bench that is at the high school. We have benches at many different fields. They get bent or broken from whatever reason, and we'll often try to repair those or replace them. This photo shows a rusted I-beam that was below the high school 190s wing that was severely deteriorated. It was hidden behind concrete, and we discovered how bad it was getting. We got engineers involved. The board approved the project to renovate that whole area, to replace the steel, fix the brickwork, prevent the leaks. So now it's all done. There's a few finishing touches, but overall it's safe and secure now. That's a finished job. The next page shows actually that wall since then on the left. The right photo shows the batter's box at the varsity baseball field. That's an example of every couple of years we have to replace some of the areas that have a high wear, like the pitcher's mound and the batter's box. So this budget had some fairly significant decreases in some areas, and some of that is because we've been trying to get tighter and tighter with what we need and identify that we need to purchase for each year. In past years, we had some projects that were in the budget, and this year what we tried to do is identify the projects that are in capital reserve projects or bond projects, and then minimize those that are in the annual budget. So we've listed some of those out, or they've decreased some of the expenses there. Like you'll notice that the building equipment repair budget has been brought down. The maintenance and grounds projects brought down, maintenance contracts brought down a little bit. But that's also while some contracts have gone up in charges. So things like dumpster services or electrical services or HVAC services, a lot of these things have gone up in price. I was looking at one example, actually, not exactly a contract service, but it was a supply item, and that's paper towels. We went from $20 a roll, a box, or a roll actually, not a roll, a box, to $32 to $52. So the costs, and that doesn't sound like a big deal, but it might go up by 30 grand over the course of 2 years. So these types of things are expenses that have been going up in cost. To name a few of the budgeted items that are included in this budget, are all the contractor and service provider costs such as dumpsters, HVAC, pest control, geese control, BMS, fencing repairs, etc. Also all the custodial supplies, paper items, cleaners, equipment, whatever. Seed, fertilizer, clay, paint, lumber. There are some carpeting jobs in here where we buy some carpet tiles to replace. Also, we hire a company to do carpet replacements, such as what's in this room. There's a couple of rips in here, for example, that we'll try to replace those areas. Also, we're going to be buying a new Bobcat skid steer for the grounds crew. We bought one about 14 years ago, and that thing is in rough shape now. We've used it for snowstorms all these years and all the field work. That's in the budget for replacement. We're also going to get a large hull scrubber for the high school to take care of all the cleaning and that. We're going to get an aerial lift. We're going to buy a pre-owned one that is around $30,000 or so instead of $60 or more. That'll be doing a lot of the high-level work that we have to do, like we talked about the lights in here and some other jobs in the schools. We're going to get various ductwork repairs to prevent leaks and also improve insulation. Duct cleaning as well. Boiler services and repairs that we tend to need all the time in schools. When you have 40 or 30 or so boilers in the district, there's going to be replacements or repairs that come about, even if boilers are only 15 years old or so. We have air conditioning repairs that are constant. Pool elevator replacement. The pool does have an elevator that brings handicap accessibility from the first floor to the pool deck. That needs to be replaced at this point. It's not working, so we have to get that fixed. So we're getting quotes now. That'll be in the budget for next year as well. We have various maintenance tools and materials that have to be purchased. We're going to make some other steam leak repairs at Paul J. Blue and Crawl Space, and we have some water plumbing repairs throughout Udall and some other places. We're going to get some additional building screens at the middle school and elementary schools. The high school should be done by the end of this spring. We have them on order already. We're also handling the fire, burglar, and tank alarm monitoring services for all the buildings as well, and environmental and professional services such as architect fees. I want to finish with a few examples of projects that we plan to tackle this spring and summer into the new year. Some of these have already, or all of them have really been discussed with the board in our B&G committee meetings, so I'll run through some of those. The Beach Street we're in now, the rotunda that we're in now, half of that wall on the other side is going to be replaced with new wall, new windows, new everything because it's deteriorating. The gym windows at Paul J. Blue and Bayview will be replaced, and all the leaks that are there now will be stopped, and the brickwork around them will be redone. The middle school auditoriums are getting air conditioning, as I said earlier. At Udall, there'll be 2 bathrooms renovated this summer and 4 bathrooms at Beach. There'll be additional campus-style fencing that will match what we installed a year and a half ago. That'll be on the Higby Lane line about where the high school entrance is. The high school fire alarm systems will be replaced all new. The classroom air conditioning will be done in all schools for September. So that's something that's pretty exciting that we're getting done. We're actually getting a jump on that now at the middle schools. High school will be starting in a couple of weeks, and we're going to get a jump on it, so by the time July comes, these might be able to be turned on at that point. 2 high school science rooms will be renovated this summer, ready for September, and the BMS HVAC controllers will be updated across the district, so they no longer have some of the software update problems we've been dealing with. So that's the work we do and the things that we include in the budget and some of the projects that are coming up. And the point I wanted to make was that the buildings are going to continue to be cleaned to the high levels that we expect. We're going to continue to maintain and fix everything we need to do. We stay in great conversation and communication with the board in our monthly meetings, and I want to thank them all for the support, for keeping our department funded and staffed and supported in so many ways. So thank you for that. That's all I have, unless there's any questions.
So again, I don't have a question, but a statement. And I think maybe to put this in perspective, those of us that are homeowners know how much work it takes to keep a home up to speed, right? And that's what families of 4, maybe 6 like mine. West Islip, we're dealing with just about 4,000 children. So to maintain a home or homes for that large of a student body, I don't know if people quite understand how much an undertaking it is. So I want to commend you and your staff for all the continued work that they've done. The aesthetics obviously has been great. I've never heard my children come home from school complaining about this isn't working or that's not working. So it's definitely a testament, I think, to everybody involved. And I'll say the same thing I said to Sean. Don't be afraid to reach out. You know, I think we all have pipe dreams, and I know we want to do the best and be the best. And I think that we are pretty much accomplishing that as we go along. So.
Thank you very much, and I do appreciate the support this board offers. It's true and real, and I recognize it every month we meet. Thank you.
Mr. Bossi, just a quick shout out as well. We were touring a number of district today around some of our buildings. We had visitors, local principals, administrators from Carl Place, and they stopped into a few of the buildings and said that it was the most well-maintained spaces that they've seen of any district that they visited. It was really nice because we got to actually bump into Rich Kelly at the high school in the hallway, and just they gave him a lot of accolades and said that how amazed they were by the shape of the buildings we're in. And that was something that they said right when they walked into every one of our buildings. So just a big shout out to our custodians and your leadership.
Thank you for mentioning that. I hear a lot of compliments from contractors that work in our schools, and I'm not going to suggest our schools are perfect. We're always looking to make them better and find areas that can be improved. But contractors very frequently tell us that we're the most cooperative district when it comes to supporting them with their work, and also we're in really nice shape. We're well managed, so that's good to hear. Thank you so much for coming.
Moving forward with our budget timeline, the nominating petitions for the board trustee seats are due back to district office by 5 p.m. on April 17th, 2023. Our budget workshop number 4 will be held on April 18th. That's a Tuesday night here at Beach Street at 7 p.m. And as I mentioned during that workshop, we will have final numbers, so we will be able to cover the state aid, the revenues, expenditures, and all of fund balance. On April 19th, that's a Wednesday night, we will be adopting the budget, again, here at Beach Street at 7 p.m. On May 9th, we will be having our public budget hearing, again, here at 7 p.m. And of course, most importantly, on May 16th is our budget vote and our trustee election, and that takes place at our high school gymnasium between the hours of 7 a.m. and 9 p.m. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think we'll just take a 5-minute recess before we proceed for our planning session.